They all kind of meshed together.
We had the application like a month ago.
You're okay.
We're all set?
Yep.
All right, let's call to order the May 7th, 2024 Conservation Board meeting. It is 29 p.m. So we have two items on the agenda tonight, plus some minutes. So we have first item on the docket is Highline Park subdivision preliminary and final. Just to list it off, applicant is requesting approval to develop under the clustering provisions for 26 for sale townhome lots, one HOA lot, one lot consisting of 3 apartment buildings. So there it is. Before we get kicked off, I guess I got ahead of myself a little bit. You've obviously been before us, I believe.
Yes, but I was probably with Maritime Engineering at that point and with Morel Builders now.
Okay, all right. I thought so. I thought that sounded familiar. So you're familiar with the background, our purview. We're looking at conservation related items for the project and how it can impact. We're giving feedback up to the planning board so they can make final decisions and forming them. So why don't you start with giving us a quick overview of the project and what you're here for tonight?
So back about 4 years ago, we started the whole process for the Highline Park PD. Actually, around 2 years ago, around 2 years ago, we had gotten preliminary final approval on the site plan. Our original intent was that all the units were going to be on us, including the townhomes. And then we had COVID and we had supply chain issues and then we had employment issues with contractors.
Of course.
And now interest rates. So as we've been working through getting this going and the grading work has actually started out on the site right now. To make our pro forma work, we've needed to take these townhomes and separate them out as for sale to generate capital to keep the whole project going, the project. It's really a matter of cost of construction and cost of financing now to get us there. So this application started as simply that, creating lots around those townhomes in an HOA area for it, which connects to the main apartment driveway. We have really not changed the site layout from what was originally approved. We'll go through a couple of things because you've got a big package of drawings there now. So that was our conceptual presentation to the planning board, and we moved forward with the application. We started our earthwork out there to get the site pad ready and ready to build. And in the process, we went through the architectural and building engineering for the buildings, and that created some things that we needed to address with services. Probably the biggest one is we've added a pool house on the backside of the pool, which wasn't on the original plans. It's not huge. It's really a storage area that's going to match the clubhouse. And we've also added some EV parking spots. Other than that, down through along the townhomes, we've adjusted grades within roughly 6 inches in front of a lot of the townhomes. Now that we got actual designs and garage locations, as you're going down a grade on the road, depending on which side of the unit the garage is on, changes the elevation of the pad you're going to have and where you're going to put the steps between the units. So it was just a little minor grading to make all that in the driveways work. So the initial package was kind of the subdivision, and then the big package followed. We submitted for some field changes for all those updates, and that has been put in with this package for the whole overall approval of the site. So essentially, we're creating lot lines. We really haven't changed the site with the exception of the pool house and the EV units that we're putting in, which hasn't changed the parking count. We've just added them into the parking that we had already had laid out there. And that's what we're dealing with. I believe Parks and Trails did send out a comment that they had concern because there were discussions on the trails. And that's gonna continue. Jeff Morrell had those discussions with him a long time ago. As we construct the units, we're gonna then field lay out the trail where it makes sense with where the buildings are gonna be. So I have no issues there. We're gonna continue to do that so they can create their trail connection they want to through the site. And that's all of it in kind of a nutshell. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
So this area right here, it's shaded, says lot to be subdivided. It says it's gonna be subdivided off the main lot here, that's part of the whole clustering provision?
Yes, so you're going through the clustering provision because the original PDD set the zoning with setbacks on the sides and the rears and the front based on that overall parcel. When we get into townhome lots, generally speaking, we push those setbacks all the way to those lot lines because the lots are so small. And it didn't meet that original provisioning, although any place where those side front setbacks, in fact, those lots, those are gonna remain. But it allows the planning board to essentially to the town law 278 waive those internal setbacks that we're gonna have to the townhome lots and possibly the HOA as we come between the clubhouse and the first set of units there. So all those setbacks that the planning board are gonna be discussing and voting on are all really internal to the site. Everything to the outside is all remaining exactly the same.
So you're pretty much just partitioning off so that you can be in requirements.
That's correct.
And all this open area, so you have 26 lots that are discreetly broken up. Everything outside of that's just HOA, right?
On this side of it, inside that boundary line, correct.
Right.
So then there's also some additional open space to the north that wraps around the backside of the historic apartment buildings. That will be with the apartment ownership, which is us. We just haven't set the actual business entity that yet.
So what's there now? Is there any water to be had? There's no creeks running through, there's no water, no wetlands.
So as a matter of fact, the whole site is some of the best infiltrating soils that we've ever had. No water sits on that site.
Is it farmed? Is it pretty flat? Was it treed? I mean,
There were some trees, a lot of some undergrowth that had gotten cleared out a couple of years ago. But as they've been doing the earthwork, cutting it great, and some of the best bank run gravel I've ever seen.
It's kind of sloped, right? Or
Yeah, so
like
from
this-
the road front up. And then drop back and then in this back. West corner is an area that's basically it's a big indentation on soils maps indicated as a gravel pit, but I don't see any indications that it was actually a gravel pit. I have people say it's natural, but no water sits there. We actually did our infiltration test and our perk test. We went down there. Although at the time, shortly after some rain, everything was damp. Water still perked in the ground. So
You will be getting this off the site.
no, any dirt off the site, there's gonna be some subsoil that is gonna be removed. Because we had to keep the grade in the front driveway. It's something manageable. We had to kind of cut down that front hill. Some of it's going in the back to build the backup, but there's probably gonna be about 2,000 yards. It's gonna see.
Is that going to 7,200 Rawson?
That was the original intention, but my calculations have shown me that pretty close to what we need there right now.
Rawson?
Yes, yes, so we're looking for a local place to take it. I don't know who it is, but I believe somebody has indicated a desire to take it not too far away, just a couple minutes away.
You're not removing any trees.
There were a few trees on site, in the main areas, the site, those got cleared out. We've saved as many as we can. Around the edges. So we had the contractor stake out the clearing limits and we went and walked that with them. So That's pretty close to where we can save that one. Those mature trees are really good buffering to the throughway and the industrial. facilities. The residential.
You doing for the you that have been cleared, are you reseeding or anything?
For what?
The acres that you did, what are you doing to finish it back? Are you planting a lawn, reseeding, are you doing concrete? What's the plan?
So there's gonna be the paved roadways, parkings, all the islands are gonna be grass with trees. In the apartment, the townhome area. um, Pretty tight, so we're gonna plant trees where we can, but all of the townhomes, if you've ever seen any of those town projects. They always have a very nice landscaping plan that goes with those townhomes. All non-invasive species, so they're on the town's list and work very well.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and the buffer areas on the outside, once we get buildings in, we tend to not want to just show a bunch of trees on the plan. Makes sense. We go out and usually work with the neighbors and stand where they're gonna be at and see where they can see things. Place trees in very strategic spots to create that buffering that's everybody wants and needs.
This is a minor subdivision.
It would be a major because of the number of lots.
Is there no conservation? That's everything.
I didn't see.
I did not
that.
see it.
There, for. Correct me if I'm wrong, but. One of the requirements for major subdivision is a. Conservation easement requirement, so I think that was one of the questions that I was looking back at. I had that kind of. Pretty interesting when it says.
We had a lot of discussions with Keith and it actually started with Kimball. She was here on kind of the direction through this process. This was kind of the best way through because we really needed to just deal with those internal setbacks. Really kind of focused on a planning board issue. We never had any conservation easements on it. We have agreed to 100-foot buffer on the west side to the residential. It's gonna stay in there. And the areas that are open space, I don't see any issues with putting conservation easements on those if we need to do that.
I'm trying to think back, did this require a change in zoning or is it in the,
So it has a PDD on it,
okay,
which made this process a little interesting.
I was wondering if, whatever requirements or changes that were made in order to allow this to happen, if that or did not require it to have a conservation.
And as a PDD, them all being rentals, then probably wouldn't. Be the best.
And so I had that same question on the conservation easements. I assumed this far into the process, it's someone has blessed that it's not required, but I mean, I think maybe our comment would be just to confirm that
Green space is complied with and if easements need to go on.
right.
That's our assumption.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I guess the comment is. So green space and conservation easements are in compliance with town code. For major subdivisions. I guess looking for.
The PDD aspect of it. So we're in compliance with the green space PDD.
Okay.
Baseline, so. I'm not sure we could get to 50% conservation. Easements on this, but if I remember right, we were. we were at least 50% of green space on the site, but all the green space would be very difficult. Conservation easements. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But we are protecting that back side as open space. So if
What
we
is
needed
that?
to, I don't see an issue with that or even adding that to the 100-foot buffer that we've got in the PDD that we're required to do on the west side.
Are you just cleared right to your property line right now? Back there, or did
No.
you not even disturb it because it's beyond
We
your construction area?
right, we cleared only as far as we needed to, even as we went through the design. Because we built up that back area, we ended up with a slope down the back. We steepened that slope up and ran it with stone. In order to limit how far we were pushing out those trees, we were just able to save about another 35 feet of that tree area by doing that.
Okay.
What's on the other side, is that down to like Fort Bell and where those, it's on the other side of the.
The north side,
Side,
yeah, and then the east side is just packaging place. That's
But it's that sort of industrial,
right,
commercial,
right.
area, okay.
And then we've got the roofing company in the Alasanos next to that.
Yeah, so it's all, you know, basically the north and east side, west side. You have some homes, right? Is that one? Yeah, so that's the property.
Yeah, the one that fronts on Main Street is down at Main Street level,
Yeah.
so it's a
Yeah.
lot lower and there's some trees in that area in between. And then there's a subdivision on that west side, but there's a couple houses that are right up there. Mrs. Hogan was is one of them. At all the meetings.
Okay.
Spoke a lot. A lot with her, so that was part of that buffer, and she's one that had some plantings back there, just picking that up. She is over.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a wise decision, try to create a buffer. Some sort of natural buffer.
There were some comments from the landscape consultant about, you know, rid of plants and design, that doesn't really impact us
Mhm.
too much, but, you know, just to make sure you guys saw those or.
Okay, I don't think I've seen those yet, but
Yeah, just, suggestions of different plants to use and, you know, maybe more continuity in the design.
okay.
Sure. You said there's some site work going on.
Yes, the grading work is, we have a grading permit. Mass grading.
Is there any interest in walking it?
Yeah, I always like to walk.
Me too. Yes. Or? So I think that'll be one of our comments or actions is to set up a sidewalk.
Okay.
The coming weeks, we'll say, so you can work with Amber to get that set up and, yeah, get that set up. Get out there, and get it. I know the work's already started, but it's good for us to see, put the eyes on
Yeah.
it, understand what's out there.
It's hard to see from the road because there's that big
Yeah.
sort of berm. I know you put the driveway in.
So yes, the site is a lot more accessible now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely be part of the counter. Got a lot of heavy equipment.
Yeah, I mean, we typically go this time of night or at, you know,
Okay.
Sunday morning or something, so, you know, we're not interrupting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking to execute on this first and then your apartments and clubhouse area second.
So yes, we are mass grading the entire site, getting the apartment area pad ready, building the townhomes.
I assume your question was on the Rawson Road, Phil, or no, just,
No,
oh, okay, sorry.
I do have a question. I've never seen I know the place, but I never walked it. And I have a friend who's a friend Hogan. Lady you just brought up, and she was kind of upset because she thought that she had. So I understand it, that you sort of a bit frail, because she had thought she had an understanding that no. She was going to be taken out of the area. According to what my friend had told me, everything was stiff there. Along the Sour Farm. You know, and-
They didn't touch the buffer.
okay,
So, I mean, that's, when we go on our sidewalk, that's, an area we'll check that buffer. And I mean, what's done is done, but we can at least, see the impact.
Documented on the drawing somewhere? Buffer. So maybe it's this. The swap right here.
Oh, I think it would be more.
Yeah, Hogan's up here.
So that was the first plan set that got submitted, and right after it was submitted, I called up Marathon and said, you need to have that on there. I think if you look at the big plan set,
Yeah,
those are added in there now.
but it would be this side, sorry,
Correct.
that is in question.
Okay. So this is just a. I guess, what do you define as, the just non-touch or no touch in the drawing?
Or do you have a fence up, like?
Yeah, how do we know? Yeah, I guess that's my question is, on the drawing, is it clear, and is it on the actual plot of land, is it clear that it's no touch? Or not to be cleared?
The contractor had the clearing limit staked. When we walked it, I was out
Okay.
there. I can have the lines on my iPad with Google Earth, just verifying where things were at. There's a very well-defined, non-touched area in between.
Okay,
I will admit, when I walked through after they clear, it's like, that's not quite as thick as I thought it was gonna be. And then we're definitely going to address that by planting some more trees in there.
Okay.
So, but yes, I've been, one of the advantages of me being, I'm second. So,
So your understanding, the buffer hasn't been touched, but it is maybe, less of a buffer than we would have imagined earlier on in the
right,
process. So
there might not be as thick plants and trees as I first thought was gonna be.
but it sounds like you
But
have
there
a
were no
mitigation.
leaves out at that point, when everything leaves out, I'm like, but it's a lot more kind of undergrowth than it is,
established, yeah.
That's where for planting of trees is probably to mitigate that, so.
yes.
Okay,
And if you've ever seen any of those projects, I've done their site engineering for 9 years. One thing that they aren't afraid of is planting trees, but they always want to do it right so it has the best impact for everyone.
any other questions, comments? Also my,
I don't think there's anything else for us to do.
The agenda.
Oh.
If you're done with me, thank you very much for your time.
yes, no, I think we're all set. I think the only action really is to set up a site walk
Okay.
and, just work with the board secretary and we'll get that set up.
Sure enough.
I'll confirm the necessity or lack thereof
Yeah.
of conservation.
Yeah, I think that'll be one of our comments that we'll go back and double check that.
And I'll talk to Keith a little bit more about that to
Okay.
make sure we're all on the right track. Yeah.
I'd be shocked if we've gotten this far and it's my cause. These systemic issues.
Okay, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. All right, you guys are up.
Perfect.
All right, well, while you're getting settled in, so we have High Point Business Park 300 edition. Applicants requesting approval to construct 2 building additions to building 300. Will consist of 8460 square feet on the southeast corner. Addition 2 will consist of 560 square feet on the west side. Additions will provide additional space to support the existing tenant and to create a dedicated entrance to this company. So, I think you guys have both been before our boards
Yes,
several
of course.
times, so you're aware of the process. Why don't you go ahead and give us just a quick overview of what you're doing and what you're looking for tonight?
Perfect.
And go from there.
So I'm James Grudicos and I'm with BME Associates. This is Fred Rinaldi. He is with High Point 300 LLC tonight. So what we're looking to do is, just as you just indicated, we're looking to do 2 building additions. The main one is on the southeast corner. This is between the existing building and High Point Drive. And then it also is on the side where 200, High Point 200 is to the property to sell a bit. There's a little parking lot area there, 2 bays wide, so a good 120 feet from where the lot line sits now, and then you have some sidewalks before you get to building 200. And then the other entrance is on the west side, which is going to be at the main drop-off loop. So this is just to create a new dedicated space. The way the building's configured, it's kind of a weird narrow hallway. It's not really inviting for where they had to get into that last area. And then the space, what it does is most of these are combination 1 and 2 stories floor. We had about 15,000 square feet of actual office space to the structure. And this allows them, I believe, to fill the remaining vacancy in the building. So this is, I think, taken, what is it, about 50,000? 65. So 50,000 existing plus the 15 or so that we're going to add on, and then get this building fully occupied. There's a small little balcony on the front side, on the very north side. So it's kind of mirror the existing balcony that we built, I think it was last year.
I was gonna say, is that the same building?
Yeah, Yeah, we have a little, it's kind of outlined up at the
Like
northern.
a fire
Corner.
pit maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Something about.
Yep, yeah, there's like little lounge area if you want to do like a patio or something, sit outside. It is a very nice spot because you do overlook the conservation easement right across the street, as well as it sits up high. I mean, they're both very well screened. You basically can't see either of these additions from Downtown Road or from 96 or anywhere. You have to basically be right on High Point Drive to see where we're adding these on. So with this, the only site modification we're actually going to be doing is the shared entrance drive that sits between 200 and 300 that they both use. We do need to shift it a little bit south to accommodate the aerial fire apparatus, basically to meet the fire marshal's requirements as well as the state fire code requirements. The line has to be so far away from the building and then have the minimum required width. So because we're expanding south a little bit, we have to make those adjustments. But there's enough existing space to make those accommodations, meet everything that we need to do for the fire code. We've already verified it with the fire marshal. I think we just got his comments back today, and they were just their typical construction comments, no mulch or anything like that against the buildings. Utilities are very straightforward. Water, we're extending internally, so we don't have to do anything. Same thing with electric. RG&E is working to help relocate a service that is a little flirting with how close it is to that proposed building addition, but they're able to do that and meet our schedule. We are going to be doing a slight adjustment to the sanitary sewer. There's a manhole that comes in right at the south east corner. Basically, we're going to cut it back like 5 or 10 feet, just pull it away from the building, reestablish the easement, and basically put a new manhole in there. And then our sanitary lateral from the building connects to that, so we'll have to get that replumbed to serve the existing building and the addition area. So basically, we're not doing any changes. In terms of erosion control, we're just gonna have basically silt fence, protect the right of way, keep dirt there. We'll have this drive temporarily closed off when we're doing the work. Obviously, there is other access points into both 300 and 200, so it doesn't create any traffic issues or anything like that.
That goes up from like Cobblestone or?
Yep, yeah, the one that's kind of north-south on the right side there, yep. So the loops just starts just north of this site, starts looping back down. We don't need to do anything with stormwater for this. We do actually still have our notice of intent open from all our High Point construction. And then the stormwater facility up here was originally sized for, I believe it was like 63% green space. When we went through approvals in 2019, we were at 61%. But as a result of some field changes we did after that, even with this proposed addition, we're still gonna be at 68%. So we went up. But we did was we knew we didn't need all the parking, so we worked with the planning board to allow us to propose parking per the leasable area of the building. So we knocked down a bunch of impervious area that we didn't build under the power lines because there's some extra requirements, obviously, with Nightbud to do all that. So we really scaled back to that, saved some money, and parking's been more than what we need, obviously, with everybody going remote work and things like that. The demands are kind of overestimated. We're still about 4 parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of leasable area, which is what we typically shoot for anyways. So we've got ample parking. We did do an update to our traffic analysis that we did, that analyzed all the intersections that we did with the 2005 DEIS that we did for High Point Business Park. So looked at like Valentine Road, High Street in Valentine, 96 and High Street, and then Cobblestone Court in 96. So we looked at all those. We're still within all the original approvals for that. Basically, the traffic growth that you estimated is greater than what it actually ended up being for the last 20 years. So we're still meeting all the same levels of service. And stormwater, like I mentioned, everything's already been sized. The stormwater facility this all goes to basically is gonna hit the stormwater sewers in the right of way. It's gonna drain north, and then it dumps right into the pond that kind of sits on the interior of the loop. And then it also has a equalization pipe that goes to the north side, and there's a big infiltration basin there. And that's been in operation for, I think, like 10 years now. And, you know, we've done regular inspections for them, never had any issues or noticed any downstream complaints that we're aware of. So really, there isn't too much else. Lighting, I think building entrance lightings. Sure, again, you're not gonna see any of those from any of the adjoining properties. That's pretty much about it. So I mean, we can answer any questions, but I think this is pretty straightforward. We don't really have any environmental impacts or erosion issues at this point.
No, so you put some trees or you have a landscape plan, which is good.
Yep, yeah, we had landscaping when we were doing the other patio, but we didn't end up installing it last fall, and then we knew this addition was gonna come, so we haven't installed it yet. So that's why we just redid the landscaping proposed in the front. I think we got a comment about switching one of the species for like a boxwood blade or something, so we'll review with our landscape architects and an update if we need to.
You have a rendering?
Yeah. So this is a view kind of north looking south into the site. The other patio that you can't see that we did is just off the screen here, yeah.
So just additional office space or?
And two stories, all office. From the inside, you would know no different. It looks like an actual extension, and it increases one of the most valuable elements of the building, which is access to natural light. The space planning, especially in the last few years, has changed to celebrate that equity within how we share that. We use a lot of technology. It's called light harvesting. So we can actually take the light quality and the Kelvin value, spread it across the entirety of the network space. We can access to natural light. So it shares awesome quality of work throughout the entire space. And this, like James said, this allows us to complete stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really agnostic to the conservation. Financial requirements. It's very little feedback, so. Comments?
It's
Pretty
already
thorough.
developed.
Yeah.
There, yeah, we need to worry about. Looks nice. Thank you very much.
Are you guys looking to get going on?
Soon as we can. We're on planning board, I think, next week, or the week after, whatever their meeting is.
Just a question. Yes, I know, right,
Yes,
you're big on conservation, so. Any plans on putting solar collectors on those roofs and in the future?
No, what we are doing, which is very exciting, is we purchased several of the smart flowers or the solar flowers. And if you want to go on a field trip with me, we have one in action right now in our former Kodak campus in Henrietta. It's at 45 East River Road. I can meet you there. What it does is it broadcasts about a 16-foot diameter of like little petals, it's a flower. And what makes it efficient is that all day long, it follows the light, so that the angle is at max capacity. And so it quite literally services the majority of our EVs, some of our common area typically puts a lot in the Boston. And it's something, the Pantones, you can match branding or building facade and design, it's pretty neat. And then it's also something that's fun, interesting to see. In High Point, we have several running clubs, bike clubs, so it's a lot of things to cause exploration. So we have a lot of fun with it. And then Rivian, we'll be in 2 weeks for Rivian. So we have unique partnerships with some of premier EV manufacturers. And it's not to build a physical building for them, they're gonna build to culture hub. So double wide, double long stalls to celebrate the fact that we're the I-90, 490, so you got Great Lake, Adirondack, Finger Lakes, really cool. Forward to celebrate, so you see the pending review sign by Starbucks, that's what that's for, so we're really gonna ramp up our sustainability initiative.
Anyone does it, it's you. Okay.
Yeah.
I wondered what that, I saw that across from Starbucks.
So excited, we'll get the first region and we've trailhead right there. Designing right now is a year-round, 4-season digital trail infrastructure that has 2 purposes. One, the obvious one, Applied Force, if you're familiar, but it also has blue box technology. One, safety. You'll see that we started to institute and security across the campus. We really want this campus to be celebrated by the general public and our tenants.
Awesome. Yeah, good luck. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Great project.
Appreciate the support.
Cool. Thank you guys very much. Yeah, well, maybe for something soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Minutes.
Yep. All right. We have approval of minutes from 16/24. Did everyone get a chance to review those, look at it, read them?
Just looking at it, I think it was one comment or something I had, I already passed on.
Twice, that one.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I'll take it. Take credit.
Yeah, no. So other than that, I make a motion to approve them. Those minutes.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Hey.
Okay. We don't have anyone from the town, so, or from the town board, so yeah, I don't have any.
Anything you wanted to raise or?
Oh, you very, that's what you saw her.
I learned a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Try to be personal and practical.
You're very fair.
Fair. We're all residents of Victor, so we all.
Right.
We're in it together.
Right?
We're in it together.
So. Thanks. I thank you all. Have a wonderful week.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion by Keith.
Yeah. Second.
Second by Matt. All in favor?
Hi.